5, 4, 3, 2. The Kartcenter Campillos, it's a three-way track, and everyone
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Karting Campillos 30 hours, the most insane, intense and crazy endurance karting race that you're ever going to see in the motorsport season 2023. We have just gone past the 8-hour mark. We've now got the 10-hour mark, I should say. We've got 20 hours to go in this incredible event. And it really is going to be sensational to see how it concludes now that we are fading the light and going into what we like to call the graveyard shift, going overnight. So we're not quite at the halfway stage yet, but we are 1/3 distance through. 10 hours done, 20 hours to go. And we're here in the bleachers. We're here in the grandstand amongst all of these spectators, many of whom are actually competitors in the event. So I thought we'd go and have a little bit of a wander about and see who we've got. We've got the team from Sally's over here, having a very solid ride. Can I just go prop up next to you? Yeah. Sally's from Denmark. How are things going so far?
Not great.
Okay.
Could be better.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah. But we're struggling, and we are not finished yet. So we're driving like hell.
Absolutely. So when we get to the halfway point and we turn around the other direction, that's when the race really gets restarted for you.
Then I will join it and kick ass. I hope so.
We're hoping so too. Thanks very much.
Thank you, mate.
So you go. Not every team is having the perfect time of it, but some are doing better than others. Let's go a little bit further up and see how we're doing up in the far corner. How's everything going?
Decent.
Decent at the moment. So which team are we following at the moment?
Team Stark.
Team Stark. Oh, we're bumping into all the Danes at the moment. Okay. So how is it? It's 21st position. Is that kind of okay for the moment?
We had a bit of bad luck with the karts. We had a kart that the engine started to like stutter in the low speed, and then after we had a kart that stuttered in the high speed. So we've been a bit unlucky with the karts, but I think right now we're in a good groove.
But fortunately, it's the kind of race where anybody can get that kind of bad luck, and maybe if you've had yours, other people will have theirs.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope we'll get some good karts, and I think going into the night, I think we're looking to make up some positions.
Okay, perfect. We wish Team Stark good luck.
Thank you.
Tack. Perfect. So great to hear from them. Lots of people here just battling away. We've got deep in conversation over the far side here. We have the team from Eris Pro. Want to see if I can get in there very quickly, have a quick conversation. It's quite high up here. How are we doing? Are we doing good?
Soy de España.
España, en español. How is it going?
Español.
How is it going? En español. How is it going?
¿El qué dices?
It's going okay, the race?
Sí, bueno, okay.
What position? Where were we? 25th position. Okay, it's not too bad. How are you looking forward to the second half of the race?
Pero si no,
In the second half of the race, it is going to go good for you and the team?
no sé qué me estás diciendo.
I'm going to need to learn some Spanish.
Lo siento,
Look, man,
lo
enjoy.
siento.
Gracias, mi amigo. I'm going to learn some Spanish and come back and do this event properly next year. I will get there. Gracias. There you go. See, sometimes people can understand one or two odd words in English, so you get a bit of an okay of it, go with it. Right, the boys here having a good run of it. You're not smoking those, are you? Good lads. No, put them away. It's fine. And then we got ourselves a very busy time with everybody. We got the boys down at the end here. Let's see how it's going for our crew over at the end. See, I bumped into all the Danes. They just like being in the bleachers. How's it all going so far?
Well, it's going very great. Like we're having a good race for now.
So what position are we currently in?
We are in 11th position.
Oh, that's right up there. Okay.
Yeah, best Danish team for now.
So the best Danish team for now. How close are we to cracking into the top 10 and staying there?
We're going to.
You're going to?
Yeah,
I think.
we're ahead on some on the pits, so we're going to be in top 10.
Okay, perfect. Well, good luck for the rest of the night.
Well, thank you.
There you go. See, so there's a lot of confidence brewing, which is very good to see. So we've got all the Scandinavian teams basically are here enjoying themselves. I think it's about to get busier as we get to the night phase in the grandstand, so we'll vacate it, let everybody have their moment. Just check out the beautiful skyline that we have here at Campillos now as the sun has properly decided to hide itself away and the night lights come on. They're one of the beautiful features of the Campillos circuit, these fabulous spot beam lights that mean that the drivers can still see where they're going even into the night time. So come on then, let's go and see how the teams are getting on. A few of them are probably going to be getting some shut-eye at this point. So we're going to wander through, we'll cut our way around the grandstands and we'll see how the teams are getting on in pit lane, as it were, in the paddock. Quite a few teams choosing this opportunity to get some shut-eye. Let's see how things are going at Northwest. I've got Brad Jones here in the Northwest karting team. How you doing, Brad? How's it going?
All right. First of all, I just want to apologise to my team. I have actually caused us two two pit stop penalties.
Okay.
My first one didn't stop for 2 minutes, had a bit of fiasco in the pit lane. So 2-minute penalty, literally on the third stint out, 2 p.m. was it? No, sorry, midday to 1 p.m. And then I actually forgot to scan my tag on the way at the next one. Had a bit of kart issues, my seat wouldn't move, I was in the pits, I wasn't even in the kart. 2 minutes, 8 seconds it took me to get in my kart. So I got another 30-second penalty. I've cost us 2 minutes, 30-second penalties. I think I'm the only person on the team. Apart from that, I think our pace is pretty good considering we've never been here. And I've not really got much else to say because we actually qualified P16, which was amazing by my teammate Matthew Roberts. Not really got anything else to say. Sorry to my team because I feel like, but it's the stress of the pit lane fiasco. Yeah. Obviously we're Brits, everyone here, majority of people speak Spanish, and sometimes the communication is just really hard. I understand what I had to do. I've done it poorly on both my stints so far, and yeah, I've not really got anything else to say. I am really proud of my team though. Yeah. They're all doing a great job. In terms of consistency, we're all putting in pretty similar lap times. We had one driver doing the 123s, which was formidable. Tried to keep him out as long as we could so we could pick up some of my penalty points, or penalty seconds back. And he did that, and then I went after him, caused another penalty, and that's just how the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid.
Well, do you know what, mate? It takes a big man to admit there's a mistake. It takes a bigger man to admit responsibility for it. So fair play, you know. It's not easy in this situation.
Well, obviously I'm the only person who's caused us the time penalties, and it's literally just been because of all the stuff I've had to think about. Sure. I couldn't get my first ballast in my second stint. I couldn't get one ballast in. My seat wouldn't move back. I had a guy pulling as high as he could, wouldn't move back. They wouldn't swap carts. So yeah, I just wasn't even a kart for 2 minutes. Okay. I saw it on the screen, 2 minutes 8, and I've literally just drove straight past the thing without even thinking I just need to get going. Fair enough. And it's a shame really because I was doing quite well. I was keeping up with the big boys majority of the time. And
let's focus on the positives because we've still got 20 hours to go. We're only 1/3 into the race. There's still every chance when we change direction, this could be a completely different race.
Well, this is the thing now. We're a team of 8. Obviously, I think we're the biggest team here. I'm literally sat here charging my phone, so nice of you to come over. I'm actually only doing the 3 hours total, whereas my rest of my team will be doing like 4 hours. Okay. I do suffer with a chronic illness, which fatigues me, but to be honest with you, this track is actually nice. I'm not hurting at all. The only thing that's bothering me is my lower back with the ballast on the weight on the left side. Nice. So we're hoping when it comes to counterclockwise, we've got some strong drivers who are literally saying they prefer to drive the anti-clockwise. I immediately said clockwise is for me, so I wanted to take all my stints before we swapped over to 15. So I'm doing my total drive before we swap. And then hopefully the pit stop penalties, they might bite us a bit, but there's a learning curve in it. So.
There's still plenty of time for it to bounce back, and you guys have clearly got a strategy that plays to the strengths of each individual driver, so I think that's really going to come into account in the second half. Yeah,
it's a shame really because we've actually got quite a few drivers who were phenomenal in the wet. Obviously, we live in England. I guarantee it rains.
We kind of know what that is.
When it's sunny. So we've got a lot of strong wet drivers. The rain stopped early. It was literally bone dry, almost bone dry when I went in for my stint at 12 p.m. I guess we'll just see how it goes, but I'll just be thinking about making sure I do everything right this time. I can't get another penalty, knowing my luck. I need to change my visor because it's tinted, and I don't want to make another penalty for the team. So yeah, no, proud of the team. It's not really a long journey. It's a big journey for us to make. We're staying like half an hour away. I see a lot of teams with like camper vans, RVs, tents, and we're doing back and forth trips to our accommodation to pick up drivers and stuff. And I'm one of the only people who can actually drive a car abroad because I'm old enough. So I'm driving carts, driving the van there and back. It's quite stressful, but it is what it is. And yeah, no.
You're the race driver and the chauffeur. Fair play.
Yeah, I am. So I'll have a nice break once I've done my stints, and I'll be happy to support my team.
Good man. We wish you all the best for the rest of the race, mate. Keep up your pecker. Good man.
Thank you. All right.
Good job. There we go. So Northwest Karting. Going to have some fun. Just dodge a race suit. It's all right. No worries. We'll get our way through. So yeah, an interesting battle ahead of us then for the British teams, for AA and the Northwest Karting. Backs to the wall, but hey, we are not even halfway through this race yet. Anything can still change. Over at PLK Sport, the team are obviously working hard keeping themselves up to date with everything on the timing screens. Everybody's got access to the same timing monitor, and obviously they can read a lot into the race strategy playing through as the race progresses, and they'll have all of their individual strategies as the racing continues on. Over at TFD, the leading master squad from France, all going very well. And we just need to have a look and see where they are. They are still leading master. Yes, they are in 12th position overall. So, vive la France. Tu as gagné? Tu as gagné? Ah, they're hoping so. They're hoping so. Merci beaucoup. There you go. Well, they'll tell us in the morning. There you go. Very good. So we'll see how that all plays out for them. The teams from Amelia and Yaramafan, they've had ups and downs, topsy-turvy day so far. Some of them ending up at the back and then coming forward in the pit stops. So it's been an interesting one. Now, there seems to have been a complete vacation of the team from the Czech Republic. Oh, no, wait. Check it out. Check it out. We've got the world's best hotel room here as the Czech Republic getting themselves nice and chilled out there in the van. See, every team's going to have a different strategy, so perfect. We move across to BKRT, the Belgian squads. Full gas and full dinner. Goodness me, this is looking very good. What do we have? We have Ruffles, we have Lay's. We have, what is this one? Dinosaurs, dinosaur biscuits. Oh, there you go. If they win, it's all because of the dinosaur biscuits. Thank you very much indeed, guys. Thank you. Moving across, we have EDK Endurance. They've still got the lights on. They're still very focused. Good stuff. Lights off at KST1, but it's all looking pretty chilled there for the team from France. Atomize Your Life have clearly gone back to the caravan. They've clearly got an episode of Futurama or Family Guy to watch. MRT Motorsport, full concentration mode and in full chat as well. How's it all going? Everything good? How is it all going so far?
Hi, yeah. By now everything is perfect, so we're having fun. We are going up, so it's okay.
Perfect. Keep it going. Enjoy the race. Enjoy it.
Enjoy you too.
There you go. So that's always the target, is just to keep climbing the ladder as much as possible. Ares Masters Racing continuing on their fantastic progress from Switzerland. Actually, while she's here, I want to see if we can get in there and grab a quick word with my friend and FIA racing driver from the past, Ekaterina Lucia, is here for the Ares Racing team. Ekaterina, good to see you. How are things?
I think it's good, yeah. We are now, I think, 20 hours to go, so I feel like it's going to be good. Great.
You guys had a bit of a slow start for both teams, but it looks like you're rising through the ranks quite quickly now.
Yes, I think we struggled a lot with the rain. I've never driven here on the rain, and some of the guys also not, and we didn't like the rain at all. It was a catastrophe for all of us. But as time goes and as we drive in the dry, it gets better.
Now, you've been switching to cars in the last couple of seasons. You've been racing in GT3 and GT4 in various different places, but you have to come back to karting when the opportunity is here. You still love the sport a lot by the look of it.
I love karting, as always, and I will always love it. The same, even rental carts, normal carts, any motorsport activity.
And a couple of years ago, you were racing in the Richard Mille Talent Academy in the FIA, so you were right at the pinnacle, and here you are racing in an event like this. What still gives you the buzz of the enjoyment for it?
The people, how kind they are, the team. It's a 30-hour race. I've never done that in my life. Campillos is a beautiful place, so I feel like everything is perfect here.
It's fantastic. I always say that you can take the racing driver out of karting, but you can't take karting out of the racing driver. That's why you're back.
Yeah, that's true.
Good to see you, Katerina. Thank you. And good luck to everybody at the squad. Hope a wonderful evening. Enjoy it. Keep climbing the ladder. Keep climbing. Perfect. So the team from Switzerland, they're going to keep on rising through the ranks. Very good to see. Right, over at San Bernardo and Astucelta, we are in chill mode. Check this out. Look at this. We have got the Hotel Astucelta right here in the pits. It's all very chilled and relaxed. We have some music going. We have some, what is it, pasta? We get some pasta. Easy. Did you cook this? Do you cook this? Oh, yes, I'm going to have to try this. That's actually really good. Is it with tuna? With tuna fish? Chicken? Oh, very nice. Give him another job as a cook. He's very good. Thank you very much. That's really good. Oh, that is good, actually. My goodness. I'm enjoying that. I will swallow, because obviously you need to hear more from me. Right, over at Mamdi Karting, the skill is obviously going very well. There's a lot of drink that has been consumed. What is your snack of choice to keep you going? Oh, chocolate biscuits. Okay, yes, that works. Bit of energy. It's all good. Perfect. Every team has a different way of fueling, and this is important, obviously. You have to stay fueled for 30 hours. Very important. Okay. So 30 hours. How are you and the team currently looking? How is things currently progressing?
Could be better. Could be better, but we do what we can. I'm the puppy of the team, so if I was young, it was better.
I see. So they look to you for the wisdom.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Do they listen to you a lot?
Yes, a little bit.
Good. A little bit. Okay, well, that's fair enough. Realism is good. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Perfect. Great to hear from the Mamdi Karting team. And they are still keeping themselves to themselves. Very good stuff. We spoke to the Sally's guys earlier on, and obviously to Essing Auto Racing as well. Strategy still going well over at Denmark. Nobody's home in Germany, I noticed, but they're all kind of congregating at Mold Racing. So obviously the two crews kind of merging into one. Mold Racing in Germany. You have the right size of tent. Yeah, because what you've done is you've basically got 3 tents and made it into one. I'm going to come and sit with my friend over here, Andre. How are things currently going?
Pretty good, actually. I have so far 0 minutes in the race, so I'm the team manager.
So you haven't done any driving at all?
I haven't done anything, so I don't like the wet conditions too much, so I let my team colleagues do the rest for me, and I can complain.
Perfect, perfect.
So, and when we will change the direction, I will jump in and try to show off.
Oh, is that because you have found that the anti-clockwise actually works better for you?
Exactly, that's the reason why I will jump in later.
Perfect. So a nice opportunity to get the strategy working. So how long are you going to have to do? You're going to have to do all 15 hours on your own, you think?
No, not too much. So at the moment I calculate with 8, but since we are 4 drivers, yeah, but it might differ up to 9 or 7 depending on how much the other ones will.
Interesting. And in terms of the position you guys are at now, it's 8th position. So you're right up in the hunt.
But we also have 11 stops already. So I think equalized we should be something around 5th position.
Fantastic. So there's still a really good chance of a top 5 overall, maybe even the podium.
Yeah, we hope so, right? Cross fingers.
Okay. Good luck to Moldova. Have a good one. Enjoy the evening. We're going to let you guys continue your strategy. How do I say good luck in Moldovan? What do I need to say?
We need our team chef to say that. But
oh, okay.
Pretty many Germans of us, so
Feedlook. There we go. There we go. Good luck, everybody. Have a good one. Very nice to see the guys pushing hard in the top 10 and having a really good race of it. Now, interesting creativity over at WRW, the 2 squads. I am very interested. I've not seen these before. What are these for? What is the creativity behind these? This is for sleeping. You sleep in these. So, I don't know. So you sleep. Oh, so you sleep in there, but this is for just kind of relaxing and chilling. Okay, just kind of laying back. All right. Okay, I get it. Okay, fair enough. How is the race going for the team so far?
Really hard one, especially with the wet start. It really messed a lot of things for us. But we are trying to find the pace, and we are trying to do double team draft, but sometimes it's really hard because some cars just doesn't match enough. But we are trying, we will see.
So you're actually trying to just stick together and work your way through the field together?
Now, yes, we are trying to stick together and try to have some benefits from it.
Amazing. Thank you very much indeed. Good luck for the rest of the race. Good luck. Have a good one. There you go. So they're going to try and go through the field like Kip Pardue and Sylvester Stallone and just stick together like glue. Amazing. Right, over at Benny Karts, it's all been rather relaxed and chilled. They've got the lights off at the moment, so clearly they're thinking about sleep. But yeah, everybody seems to be okay. Everyone is happy, enjoying themselves, staying refueled with fruit the proper way. That's the proper racing driver's way. You see, they're being professional about it. Excellent. Good work. The lights aren't on in a couple of tents all the way down, so we have to go over to Creatia. So let's see what's happening down at Creatia. It's all quite quiet here, actually. Just one driver, just all good. Everything okay?
Okay.
And the speed, how is it looking?
Bueno, ahora estamos en tercera posición y vamos a intentar las 20 horas que quedan e intentar remontar un poquito más para adelante.
Fantastico. Fantastico. Gracias.
Hasta luego.
There we go. See, we have an international audience, but we have a lot of people from Spain watching, so I'd like to get their opinion in Spain as well, in Spanish. Track limits, France and Portugal. Long faces, looking at the timing screen and hoping that suddenly the card comes up and up and up and up and up. How's it currently going? It's looking okay?
Not so much.
Not so much. We're waiting for the switch. Yeah. Okay. The amount of teams that are waiting for the switch. Good luck, though. We wish for the best. You see, there's a lot of teams down here that are just waiting for this switch in 5 hours' time when we go in the opposite direction. Meanwhile, down at Ares Pro, let's talk to Luis, see how it's going. How are things at Ares at the moment?
Pretty good. We will see when we will go unclockwise. how it goes. And yeah, for the moment things are pretty good, and we will see if we can have a little battle for the victory.
Okay, perfect. We wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
So yeah, areas are still very much towards the front end of the pace at the moment and working their way forward. They're going to have a really strong run of it, actually. Oh, we just spoke to her, Katerina Lucia, and now she's making her way into the kart. So actually, let's kind of head in that sort of direction, and then we kind of get the sort of the run of the pit stop. So great to see that the level of the driving talent here is really, really strong. It's not just amateurs that are going racing in karting just because they can. There are actually some really strong drivers. Here's Mr. Saturday getting himself ready. I'm starting to learn people's nicknames now as well, you see. That's Mr. Lund, who is known as Mr. Saturday. He's going to have a difficult day tomorrow, isn't he? Right, so as the driver's now getting themselves ready for another pit stop, we're going to see how it all works out. Interesting, we got people there with a choice of light as well, that they have a sort of a flashing wristband on the arm so that people can see them when they're out and about. But let's watch the process. You see, Katerina Lucia actually has sort of a seat insert. She also has an electronic device that she'll put onto her steering wheel, which will give her the benefit of the extra lap times. And you can see that they're going to swap everything over and make sure everything goes according to plan. So everybody getting themselves into position to make sure that they are in the correct position, ready for the changeover. And obviously that kart number has now been called to the pits here. You can see on the digital readout that the particular karts are now being called into the pits at a particular time, and then when they get the green light, that's when they can head over to the karts there in the holding area, and then they'll be able to get themselves into the pit stop. So we get to watch this process at night. But there's a lot to remember for the driver. You have to remember, of course, that you have the correct amount of ballast, and you have to weigh it here on the scales to make sure that it's all correct. You have to make sure that you have the, for this particular team, they have a steering wheel monitor as well. Not every team has that. It's an optional extra, so they can choose to have one of those if they so wish to. But there's also a radio comms link, again, which is optional. You don't have to run one, but some teams obviously feel that it's quite necessary in order to make sure they can run a strong race. But this is when the race gets really difficult at this point. They've had daylight all the way. They may have had slippery conditions, but they've had daylight all the way. The track changes completely when it gets to night, because not only do you have limited visibility, but obviously the track temperature drops, the air temperature drops, so you get a little bit more dew, especially when the wind is strong and the wind is high. So you have that after effect of having reduced grip and reduced confidence in the kart. So that's when things get particularly slippery out there on the course. So while they're about to get the green light command, let's see if we can head over, and we'll find our way over to the pit stop position. Now those lights actually correspond to the lights that we have on the top of the pit board here. So you've got green, yellow, red and blue, and that's where they are told on the timing beacon there what color they're going to have to walk over to when the time comes. So the number 6 team, the Kreatia team, just putting their steering monitor on. Now make sure you put the wristband, make sure you do the scan. There you go, they did it. Well done, very good. That was Desplat making sure that he scanned his wristband, and you have to make sure you do that. We obviously heard from the British team earlier, they forgot to do that on one of their stops, so they ended up getting a penalty. And we saw a couple of teams do that earlier on in the broadcast, actually. They just drive through it. It's one thing you have to remember to do. You have to check your wristband as you come through. So we're now just waiting for these final couple of teams to get the call to come in. We'll switch sides, actually, so that we can get a little bit more of a look. The heroes of the race for me, obviously we've got the marshals out there doing their thing, but also here you've got the incredible engineering team, and they've got 12 karts here all the time, ready to go, that they obviously maintain. They make sure that they're going to be operational. They're going to make sure they're just as fast and competitive as the karts that are out on the circuit. But why 12? Well, it's a nice sort of a large number to have as a spare backup, but obviously the karts come into the pits from the entry to the pit lane here. They are handed to the mechanics, who then fuel them up here. Let's watch the process, actually, because we've got the kart about to come into the pits here. So the driver gets out of the kart. The number plate and transponder is taken off the kart. In fact, we're going to have 2 or 3 karts coming through. So they will all come through together, and they get out of the kart. And so then it becomes part of the running for the driver to then make sure they've put the ballast into the kart correctly. The number plate goes on. They swap drivers, they swap karts. But of course, the kart they come into the pits with is not the kart they go out with. It becomes one of these 12. So you always get to change your kart as well as change your driver. So back out into the race will go the number 18. And again, you have to make sure you get your wristband, scan it on the way out. There you go. When the light goes green, you know that that's perfectly acceptable. Here's a Katharina Lucia of the Aras racing team for Switzerland. She is a very talented racing driver, actually, Katharina Lucia. She represented Switzerland in the FIA Karting Racing Championships of Europe and the World Championship back in 2020 and 2021. She was part of the Richard Mille Talent Academy, which looks after young, talented racing drivers up the racing ladder, and has gained some incredible competitors from various different competitions. They're very much in comeback mode at the moment because they really struggled in the wet conditions. But Ekaterina Lucia currently races in GT4 and GT3 sports car racing, both in her native Switzerland and across Europe. So she has great credence and great ability, having made the switch to sports car racing. And here she is, continuing her journey as she runs through. And again, the wristbands, they have to scan them before they head out onto the circuit again. And then, as you can see, there's a bit of a queue build-up. Let's go and have a look. We've got a bit of a queue building up here at the edge of the pit lane because you've got several teams waiting to go back out onto the circuit again because they have to do it by the timer. You see, you've got the timer there. They have to make sure that they come through in 2 minutes for the pit stop. 2 minutes is the absolute minimum. If you do it in under 2 minutes, then you end up incurring another penalty. So the drivers are working very hard to ensure that they calculate just when they leave the pits again. So there we go, the two karts are going out onto the circuit together, and they actually assisted each other in getting out of the pit. So that's really good to see that, you know, two rival teams actually working together to get out onto the circuit in good time. So, yet again, we are still pounding around here. We are 1/3 of the way through this epic 30-hour Kartcenter Campillos race, but we've still got 20 hours to go, and we've just gone into the night. So things are going to get pretty tough for all of the teams. It's definitely going to get more competitive, but it's going to get a lot more fun too. My favourite part of any endurance race, the nighttime phase. This is the most exciting part of any endurance race, other than maybe the first hour of the start of the race, which was kind of squelched out to a certain degree this year, wasn't it? We had a bit of a damper on the first hour. However, now that the circuit is bone dry and we're into the nighttime phase, this is when the battles can really get fairly intense out there on the course. We have the Eris Pro and Eris Sport teams out in first position. They've actually switched from one team to the other, taking the lead in recent times, but 10 hours into this race and still plenty to talk about, plenty to do. You can see there Helmi Harumi, who is getting ready to go out onto the circuit again. In fact, two karts looking to head out onto the circuit exactly the same time as they leave the pits. That's Helmi Harumi and Mathieu Chartier, who are together out on the course in the number 8 and number 7 karts respectively. They're battling for 4th position. They came in battling, they leave the pits battling again, the two Track Limits team karts. So they're essentially assisting each other out onto the circuit again. They're 4th and 5th position positions. So at this point, I'm here to give you a bit of a rundown as to where the lay of the land is for the competitors. We've had a lot of shuffles of the deck. The 40 teams are all still competing. It's all still very busy out there and still very hectic. But now that we're into the nighttime phase, it all comes down to who of the teams has essentially got the best strategy to take them into what we call the graveyard shift, the nighttime phase of racing. Jake Sanson here with you all the way through to the finish line at 4 p.m. tomorrow. I can't believe I'm saying that, considering we started at 10 o'clock. Some people go racing for 6 hours, some for 12, some for 24. We're just that little bit different. We go 30. Why? Because we're just as insane as you are. Those of you who are watching it, those of you who are competing in it, and those of you who are loving it exactly the way that we love it. This is the best part of motorsport, and it's why we get GT racers, karting racers, endurance racers from all over the world coming to compete in it. Great to see Katarina Loisha getting back behind the wheel of the Ares Racing kart number 20. She's out there trying to storm her way back through the field. About 14 laps off the lead, but there's still plenty of racetrack to cover in order to get back into position. Now, who is that in pit lane? I think that's the PLK Endurance squad that are currently in pit road. That's Andres Ramos Timosek, who is currently waiting to get back out onto the circuit again. So let's talk you through 19 and a half hours to go in this epic 30 hours of Campillos. We're great to be touring around the paddock, and we'll do that a few more times before the checkered flag flies. We're also going to be back in the paddock again in time for the halfway point, because we're going to see something you don't get to see every day in motor racing. Halfway through an endurance race, when the competitors will be gridded up by the safety cart, and then they will be sent in the opposite direction. You don't get that at Le Mans, do you? Ares Pro currently leading the way in kart number 1. This is the championship winning team from 2022, and it's Thomas Condaminas who is currently at the wheel at the moment, with Tom Chepp, Damiano Marquesan and Loic Martin having had their turns in the kart. At this point of the race, considering that we're 10 hours in, I'm also going to give a shout out to each of the drivers within the team that's had the most time in the kart up to this point, and give a bit of a wink to those who haven't driven at all. With the leading team, the MVP, or the driver that's been in the kart for the longest, is Loic Martin, who's done 3 hours and 24 minutes in the kart at the moment. Thomas Condaminas is currently at the 1 hour 37-minute mark, so doing a fair job. So keep up the good work. Ares Sport in the number 4 kart, currently finding themselves in second position. Matteo Agassiz is the man at the wheel at the moment, but we've had some great running from Sibed Vefal, Sven Baumberger and Rui Rodriguez. But at this point, it is Matteo Agassiz that has had the longest in the kart, 3 hours and 43 minutes at the current count, so very nearly half the race on his own. Then we have the team that is currently in third position. That's the Asphalt Knights from Portugal. It is Hugo Cavallado who is in the kart at the moment. Joao Brites, Luis Duarte and Luis Fernandez have all been in the wheel. The one who has been the longest in the wheel is currently Luis Duarte, but only by 3 minutes over Luis Fernandez. Then in the team in fourth position, it is the number 2 squad, Paquetes drivers, the team that was second last year and hoping to be the winners this year, and they're right in the hunt. They're only 3 laps away from the race lead. They also have the fastest lap of the entire race, actually, at 1:23.096. So it's looking like that team is going to be having the fastest lap trophy for the first half of the race for the clockwise running. At the moment, that team has got Alejandro Ruiz Cabello at the wheel of the kart, and then John Del Valle, German Sanchez and Juan Sanchez have been racing, but Juan Sanchez is the MVP. He's been in the kart for 3 hours 42 minutes thus far. Fifth position, it's the Mold Racing team from Moldova, and boy oh boy have they had an exciting time of it so far, with only 3 of their drivers having taken to the wheel. Nicolas Kruger is the MVP. He's had 5 hours and 12 minutes behind the wheel so far. 3 hours for Merton Brands and an hour and a half for Maurice Shirkinov. But the man who hasn't done any driving at all, Andrew Byrne, we actually heard from him a little while ago down in the paddock. He's going to be taking his first stint when the drivers go in the opposite direction, because he actually prefers running in the anti-clockwise direction. It's a risky strategy when you've only got 4 drivers in a team, but that is the way they feel they can be the fastest possible. So good for them. Hopefully it all goes well. Bit of a problem at the pit stop here for one of the teams, who have had a bit of an issue getting the Alvano monitor off the steering wheel. And that's going to cost them a little bit of preparation time, so you've got to be very careful about making sure you do that. Now, once the driver gets out of the kart, they leave that kart in the capable hands of the mechanics down there, who then basically refuel it, top it up, and get it ready for the next kart. They put it back into the 12 rotation in the pit lane. I think it's a fabulous dynamic that means that everybody gets to swap car every time they come into the pits. It's really, really cool. The Essing Auto Racing Pro Team currently in 6th position with the Danish drivers. It's currently Schumi who's behind the wheel, Christian Jessen, and then obviously champ Mr. Saturday and MK in the kart as well through the course of the race. Jesper Madsen, Johan Lund and Mads Kenneth. The man who has currently been driving the most in that particular team is Jesper Madsen. The champ has done 2 hours 59 minutes so far. Then to the track limits teams that are currently running in 7th and 8th. It's the Portuguese squad in front of the French squad at the moment. So Mathieu Chartier is the man at the wheel of the Portuguese team, number 8, and Julien Valenti, Axel Rochard and Edouard Coumont are the other drivers. And Mathieu Chartier is about to complete his 4th hour in the kart, so obviously he's had a long time there. And then for the French team, the number 7 crew, track limits, they're in 8th position at the moment. And the man behind the wheel is Helmi Hamrouni, and his teammates Julien Pereira, Brian Barret, and Jose Perez are the other drivers in the squad. It's very tight actually between the drivers that have done long stints. But Helmi Hamrouni is about to become the longest driver in that team to have completed race distance, because he was only a minute off what Brian Paré had previously done, and so Helmi Hamrouni is about to go into his 4th hour. He's just about to complete 3. In and out of the pits has come the Asphalt Knights, by the way, and it is Luis Fernandez, it is Hugo Cavallido that has come into the pits, and he has handed the kart over to Luis Duarte, who was already the man with the most experience in that particular kart this race, and he is now going to add some more time to his tally. Then we have the Creatia squad, the Creatia squad from Spain in the number 6 machine. They're still in the top 10, still very competitive. Nelson Desplat has just gone into the kart. He's done an hour and a half prior to his stint, and his other drivers, Diego Perez, Adrian Garcia and Jonathan Crespo, have all had a bit longer in the car. Crespo is the one who's done 3 hours 24, so he is their longest competitor so far. Then we have the BKRT squad from Belgium. They are into 10th position now with their mixed gender team, 2 boys, 2 girls. It is Simon Strauben who's currently at the wheel, and Maxime de Matteo, Justine Strauben and Alice Noel have all had their time in the kart. The one with the longest stint so far is Maxime de Matteo, who's done 2 hours and 38 minutes. 11th place is Astrocelta Racing, the number 21 crew. They currently have Cesar Alvarez Garcia at the wheel, and the other 4 drivers, I should say, Marcos Senuda, Joan Sebastian Rodriguez, Kevin Maitrell, and the 5th driver in Alexis Yanin. They've all had time in the kart, but the one who's had the longest, only just, is Alexis Yanin, but that is about to change. Cesar Alvarez is about to overtake that tally. Team TFD, the French team that currently leads the Masters category, they're in 12th position overall, and looking very strong with it as well. At the wheel at the moment is Thierry Engel, and the other drivers, Arnaud Deschênes, Nasser Maklouf, Axel Francoeur and Hugues Mativet have all had their time behind the wheel. The longest serving at the moment is Arnaud Deschênes, who has done 2 hours and 42 minutes. Then to 13th place is the squad from DTS, the Spanish team in number 3. And at the wheel at the moment of that particular kart is Ricardo Lopez in front of Jose Maria Savian Vega, Javier Rodriguez and Alejandro Valverde. The man who has had the most time in the kart is Jose Maria Savian Vega, with just a push over 3 hours, 3 hours 1 minute to be precise. Next team up is Yaramafan Racing, all the way up to 14th position. Shows you just what the rhythm and the pace of staying in the hunt and not getting into hot water can really do for a team. Alberto Cortez is the man currently at the wheel of that kart, as into the pits comes the number 1, so that is the race leaders, Eres Pro, coming into the pits, and their man Thomas Condominas getting out of the kart, and they will change over for another driver as well as another machine. So good work there from Thomas Condominas. They were a lap clear of the sister kart of Eres Sport, so they take their pit stop. Back to the rankings. Alberto Cortez is the man at Yaramafan Racing in the kart at the moment. His teammates Juan Toribio, Eduardo Caballo, Francisco Clemente and Javier Martinez de Alfredo have all had time in the kart. This is actually Alberto Cortez's first stint. The man who's done the longest in the kart at the moment is Francisco Clemente. So they're doing a fantastic job. 14th position for Yaramafan Racing. Check out the static camera on the main straight here now that the light has faded completely. Very cool to watch these guys going through. There's the 34. Just taking it in the stride, that is Alberto Cortez. The 41 going through the picture there, that is Christian Zingenberg, the Danish driver, pushing his way further forward.
Great to see everybody putting on a great show at this moment in time. Behind the Yanamafan Racing team in the number 35 kart, the Masters team that is currently second in the class and only 3 places back from TFD is the MRT Motorsport squad. There is the number 1. Currently now it is not Thomas Condaminas who is behind the wheel anymore. I think that looks to me like Loic Martin has taken over. So that looks to me like Martin. And the number 8 kart is in the pits as well. That's Axel Rochard about to take over for Track Limit Sport number 8. So he's continuing on his charge forward. But Thomas Condaminas handing the kart over now to Loic Martin, who will retake the lead as he heads out onto the course. So very exciting to see how the Ires Pro team are hoping to defend their title. Back to where we were though in the overall rankings. 15th place, number 35 crew MRT Motorsport, currently second in Master. It is Ole Christoph Todorov who is behind the wheel. His teammates are Cristiano Pica, Zias Savian Vega and Juan FCO Esteban Bermudez, who has the longest time in the kart so far, 3 hours 55 minutes. 16th position is the old boys for Essing Auto Racing as we look at the number 32 kart from BKRT coming into the pits. It was Simon Strauven behind the wheel. It's now Justine Strauven that will go out onto the circuit in the number 32. So great to see that Simon will be replaced by Justine in this particular stint. Yes, bouncing down the straight, that's how you go faster, Christian. All these drivers clearly feeling that, you know, get a bit of bounce out of that final turn and you get a bit more speed. It's a psychological thing or something, but all the drivers seem to think it works. Sometimes they really think it does. I'm not so sure myself. I'm not convinced. Acing Auto Racing, old boys, the number 37 crew in the Masters category. So it's really close, actually, for the lead in Master because we've got Team TFD in 12th. We've got MRT Motorsport in 15th. And only 7.6 seconds down the road from them, we've got the Acing Auto Racing old boys with Logistics currently behind the wheel. That's Peter Anderson and their other drivers. Javi, Rocket, Soz and LC are swapping over regularly. That's Michael Harvey, René Janssen, Sebastian Varga and Jesper Christensen. The driver in that team with the longest time behind the wheel, well, that is currently René Janssen, who has put the Rocket in position for 2 hours 23 minutes. Everybody else has had a very even run of the draw so far. KSTR, 16th position at the moment. It's now become 17th actually. So KSTR with Arnaud Belat at the wheel, along with Julian Spinelli, Michael Hernandez, Sebastian Hernandez and Laurent Vardier. That is the team from KSTR, and the team, the driver with the most time behind the wheel is the man who's currently behind the wheel. Arnaud Belat is the one to keep an eye on. Then over at the 18th position, it's Team Sally's, all the way from Denmark. The number 13, Sofus Hansen, is the one who's currently behind the wheel, and his teammates are Camilla Martin Fredriksson, Isaac Jakobsen, and Jan Norbert. So they are there together. That's the number 12 in the pit lane at the moment, by the look of it. That is Mr. Saturday himself, Ewan Lund, getting himself ready to go out onto the circuit himself. He is known as Mr. Saturday. I wonder how he's going to do tomorrow. I might ask him a bit later. We'll see how things go for him. Back to the Sally's draw. Isaac Jakobsen is not in the kart at the moment. It's currently Sofus Hansen who is there in second place. The man with the most amount of time behind the wheel is Camilla Martinez Fredriksson, who's done 3 hours 3 minutes. But Sofus Hansen is chipping away at that very quickly indeed, getting him ready to go out onto the course. 19th position is Team Stark in, ironically, the number 19. The Danish team, Henrik Poulsen, is currently behind the wheel, and his teammates are Klaus Jorgensen, Victor Sparholt, and Karsten Sparholt. The one with the longest time behind the wheel is Victor Sparholt, 3 hours 17 minutes. Pit lane frenetic activity. Everybody getting in and out and swapping over. So drivers coming in, drivers going out. The number 10 crew coming into the pits then. That's WRW2. That's Pavel Shutan who is coming to the pits then. The Belarus squad who have separated for the time being. They're kind of working their way up the ladder together, but they're going to have to rejoin each other and recongregate before they can cooperate their way further forward through the field again. 20th position at the moment is the team from the Czech Republic, Czechia. It's Choptran's friend kart. And the driver behind the wheel is Petr Finstil at the moment, Ivo Polasek, Martin Pekinek, Petr Guluk, Jaromir Malasinchik and Vit Guluk are the drivers behind the wheel. And only just with the longest stint in that squad is Ivo Polasek, who's done 2 hours 13 minutes. But there's 6 drivers in the team and they've all had a go, so there's nobody really topping 2 hours 15 in that particular squad. Martin Ruvers overlooks the scene to make sure that the competitors are doing as they should be doing. There's the number 30 pulling into the edge of the pit lane as well for their latest trip to the pits. That is the number 30, so that is the team currently running in. Where is the number 30 currently running? Just trying to look through the timing screens to find them. A long way down the field from where I think they were hoping to be. that is for sure. Now the number 30, trying to find out where they are. Goodness me, my eyesight's starting to dip at this point. Where is the number 30 at this point in the race? I can't see them, but they are there somewhere. So the number 30 plate, I can't actually make out where the number 30 is in the timing screen. Maybe there's a double number somewhere, but I can't make it out. We'll come back to that. Anyway, so up in 21st position, we were talking about the teams in the top 20. Now we can go into the bottom 20, and that is the team from Benecarts, who are in 21st position at this point. The team from Benecarts consisting of Victor Martin, who's behind the wheel, Victor Vicente, Mario Santos, Jorge Ibars and Alvaro Segura. And currently the man behind the wheel is trying to catch up to Mario Santos, who has 3 hours and 5 minutes behind the wheel as the longest serving driver in that squad at the moment. Then we have the EDK Endurance team, currently running in 22nd place in the number 29 car. Into the pits comes the 28, by the way. Lots of cheering going on to keep everybody motivated and keep everybody upbeat. That's the PLK Sport team coming in. Pedro Ojeda has then brought the kart in. And look at that, some fabulous running from the Mold Racing team. The Moldovans having a fabulous run of it. They're really loving their racing here. They've managed to climb all the way to the dizzy heights of 4th position, the Mold Racing team number 14. The other sister car, we just saw Octavian Lungu come into the pits. They're in 25th position in the Mold Racing Sport team. They are such characters, the Moldovans. I'm absolutely delighted that they made their way to the Karting Campillos 30 hours, because the race just wouldn't be the same without them. As they continue to work their way through. There is the leading kart, or the former leading kart, the Ares Pro team, which is currently 20.7 seconds off the lead now, with Loic Martin at the wheel trying to chase down Matteo Agassiz. So that's going to be interesting when the two teams return to the same bit of racetrack together. Now, we were talking about the EDK Endurance team as the next team in the list behind Victor Martin at the Benecarts team. EDK Endurance, number 29, they are 22nd in the race at the moment, as again, we've got a team ready to go from the Mold Racing team down there at the pit lane. We did see Octavian Lungu in the kart, and I think they're going to change over again now. I'll try and figure out who it is that's getting behind the wheel. It was Octavian Lungu, there was the kart. I think it's now Jan Tangerman who is going to be taking over, as into the pits comes Henrik Poulsen in the number 19 Team Stark machine from Denmark. 22nd at the moment, though, the EDK Endurance team. I will get these rankings done and complete, I promise you. 22nd place for EDK Endurance in the number 29. It's Boris Martin Gomez, who's currently at the wheel. His teammates are Daniel Diaz Sanjuro, Jose Luis Ramal Moreno, Christian Lopez Etron Basaguas, and Carlos Langreo Gonzalez. The longest serving driver in the team at the moment is Carlos Langreo Gonzalez, who's done 2 hours 44 behind the wheel. 23rd position, well, that's the team from Sally's too. The Danish team, Henrik Hansen, is behind the wheel, and the other 4 drivers are Jacob Skallegard, Rasmus Blom, Sune Kramper and Jesper Skallegard. And the longest serving driver in that team at the moment is Rasmus Blom, who's done 2 hours 57, so almost 3 hours on his own. Then the number 9 is next up, 24th in the rankings. That's WRW, the leading squad from Belarus, and it is currently Artem Velokovsky who is behind the wheel. His teammates are Daniel Siarko, Evgen Didishka, Anton Sheremyazka and Sergei Levkovich, and the longest serving driver out on the course is the man who's currently behind the wheel. Artem Velkovsky has currently done 2 hours and 39 minutes roughly. Then it is the team from Germany, the number 16 crew from Grisa Racing, and they are currently running with Marvin Bauer at the wheel, and the other 5 drivers are Matthias Grisa, Linus Grisa, Sylvan Tomasi, Dylan Hetler and Eileen Bauer, who currently has the longest stint of anybody out there. So Eileen Bauer, the lady driver in that team, has actually had more time in the kart than any other driver. So don't say they favour women over men or men over women, because it's equality for all. The number 11 down there in pit lane, that is the CVKS Sapor car team, who is actually the next in the ranking. Borja Alonso was in that car. I think it's now a changeover of driver. So it was Borja Alonso in the kart. I think they've now just swapped for one of the teammates. I'm trying to make out who it is that's currently in that car. I think it's Daniel Brezo Lopez who's taken over, and then obviously their other teammates are Carlos Carrascosa, Luis Boix and Juan Jose Sabria, and the man who's got the most seat time is actually Borja Alonso, so he's just given up that to hand over to Daniel Brezo Lopez. Now, 27th is the team, well, that is the team we were just talking about. The PLK Endurance team are next up. We obviously had the PLK Sport team a little earlier on. PLK Endurance have actually dropped to 26th. It is Dan Rodriguez who's behind the wheel from Mariano Jimenez and Andres Ramos, who have both had seat time. Interestingly, Pablo and Michael Bejar have not yet raced in that particular team. So I have a feeling they're going to wait until we do the switch, and then they're going to basically specialise in the anti-clockwise direction for the circuit for the majority of their race campaign. Several teams are choosing to do that. Obviously, they've got drivers who are specialists of the clockwise and specialists of the anti-clockwise. So some teams are actually leaving some of their drivers to rest so that they can focus on the second half of the race. Very good tactics there, very good strategy for the certain teams that's going to work for. Number 27 in the race is the number 41 Zingenberg, still at the wheel, and his teammates are Finn Hansen, Peter Larsen, Lars Bjalland and Karsten Funke. And I have to tell you, the driver that's currently done the most mileage in that team is Finn Hansen, who's done 2 hours and 41 minutes, pretty much, give or take 3 seconds. The next team in the ranking is WRW2, that's the team from Belarus, and they are still going strong. The number 10 crew, Artyom Abakumov is the man who's currently at the wheel, and then it's Pavel Shutan, Vova Kolasin, Pavel Sobolevsky and Michael Zemskov who have been doing the driving, and Artyom is actually the man, Artyom Abakumov, who is the man who's done the most mileage in that particular team. Mold Racing Sports' second kart, it was indeed Jan Tangerman who took over from Octavian Lungu. The other drivers in that squad are Peter Scheich, Ad Holnagel and Nicholas Harms in the second of the Mold Racing Sport teams. The number 15, the man who's done the most mileage, well, it's Peter Scheich, who's done 2 hours and 48 minutes behind the wheel. We've just heard from Daniel Borrezo Lopez. The CVKS Summer Kart team have now slipped to 30th thanks to that pit stop. WRW coming into the pits now for their latest driver change. Behind them, the bottom 10 teams in the list. 31st position at the moment is the Mamdi karting team from Brazil, Nicolas Verez, who is currently sharing his kart, of course, with Florent Stassar, along with Roberto Verez and Antoni Verez. The one with the most track time is Antoni Verez, who's done 3 hours and 31 minutes, give or take a few seconds. Then 32nd in the race is the number 22, that's the Go-Kart San Bernardo team, with Yana Jesus Morales currently driving the kart in 32nd position. His teammates are Ramses Diaz, Ariandro Amas, Jose Ivan Baez and Ricardo Hernandez, and the driver with the most seat time is Ramses Diaz, who's done 3 hours and 12 minutes. Next up, it's Full Gas by BKRT. They really struggled in the early phases, but they're trying their best to get back into the rankings again. Jeremy Massar is the driver who's currently at the wheel, and then the other 4 drivers are Mathieu De Hask, Loris Voy, Tristan Sibyl and Julie Mutui. And the kart has been driven the most in this race by Jeremy Massar, who's just gone past the 3 hours 3 minute mark, so he's just continuing on his way. Then come the plucky Brits. It's been a very long race indeed for the British teams. The AA are currently running in 34th position. James Caruana is the driver at the wheel, and then his teammates are Reda Ferran, Henrik Palien and Oliver Sylvie. The one with the most seat time is Henrik Palien, who's done 3 hours and 16 minutes. They've just actually been overtaken by their sister team, the Northwest Karting Squad, with the biggest team in the mix. 8 hours of driving, 8 drivers, I should say, of driving they've got in the number 25 crew, and their team, of course, made up of Alex Wentworth, who is the driver currently behind the wheel, and then we've got Tommy Lee, Jacob Sharrock, James Barrett, Ash Condola, Matthew Roberts, Brad Jones and Matthew Williams. So they're all together. The driver who has done the most mileage, well, nobody's really cracked the 2 hour mark within that particular team. When you've got 8 drivers within a particular team, you've got a lot of talent to play with. The driver who's actually done the most mileage behind the wheel in this race is Brad Jones, who we heard from a little while ago. He's done 1 hour and 56 minutes, but there's a lot of teams to come to play. Into the pits comes one of the Essing Auto Racing team, that's the 37, so that's the old boys crew coming into the pits then for a driver change. So that is going to be Logistics, who has got out of the kart. That's Peter Anderson. They all have nicknames in the Essing Auto Racing squad. Both squads actually, so you're going to know them by nickname as much as you are by real name over the course of proceedings. Been down in 36th position is the RS Racing team, Ekaterina Luisha, the racer behind the wheel. We heard from her a little earlier on, I should say. And Jose Francisco Gonzalez, Francisco Jimenez and Alvaro Araujo have all been in the kart at various points, but the driver with the most track time is actually Jose Francisco Gonzalez, who's done 2 hours and 54 minutes up to this point. The kart behind them is the sister kart, the master team of Juan Antonio Cancino in the number 38 master team kart at the moment, and sharing that kart with Andy Liu, Reto Gut and Juan Antonio Oliver. And the driver with the most seat time in the Ares Master Racing team is the driver who's currently out there, Juan Antonio Cancino. 3 more teams to talk about. PLK Sport in the 28 kart, down in 38th position at the moment, 420th lap they're on at this moment in time. Jose Antonio Fernandez is the driver behind the wheel. Only 3 other drivers have had any seat time in that particular squad so far, namely M.A. Almagro, Carlos Cordoba and Pedro Ojeda. The other two drivers, Enrique Alvarez and Carlos Modesto, haven't turned a single lap yet, but the one who's done the most is Pedro Ojeda, who's done 3 hours and 23.5 minutes. So expect the other two drivers, Carlos Modesto and Enrique Alvarez, to take over the kart when we go anti-clockwise. The other biggest team in the mix, there are two teams with 8 drivers. The other one is Atomize Your Life. They're currently down in 39th position, the number 24 Spanish team. Julio Cañas is the one who's at the wheel. The other drivers are Hughes Dero, William Petadica, Nelio Dero, Jose Carlos Ropero, Frank Dica, Paco Panadero and Brandon Lee Oxley. And when you've got 8 drivers in the team, again, not one of them is going to have a massive amount of track time after 10 hours. Frank Dica is the one, for the argument's sake, that has the most time, 1 hour and 50 minutes behind the wheel. The last team in the mix at the moment, as into the pits comes the number 16, that's the Grisa Racing team, currently being driven by Marvin Bauer, the German star. And they're going to swap drivers and swap karts, as always. The last team in the mix is the number 42, that is Emilia Racing in the Masters category. Francisco Ricardatello is the one who's currently at the wheel. His teammates are Manuel Titos, Manuel Barbero, Thomas Quintengelen, Jose Ramos and Jorge De Vicente. Of all the drivers, the one who's turned in the most mileage is Manuel Titos Garcia, who's done 2 hours and 20 minutes. A very tough race in the battle still to come, as the Eres Sport duo of Matteo Agassiz and Loic Martin are trying to keep relatively close to each other. 20 seconds is the gap between the two leading crews. But the team that is now in third position is Paquetes drivers. They've worked their way further forward. They have the fastest lap from the first half of the race. Of course, the first half of the race is not over yet. It's still got another 4 hours to run before we swap in the opposite direction. And that's going to be quite exciting to watch. We're going to go live on air for that part of the race as well, because that's going to be really exciting to watch as we get that transition from one layout to the other, something you don't get to see in many forms of motor racing and not even in any other forms of karting, as the drivers are trying to utilize as much slipstream as possible. Why do you do that in a race like this? Well, there's a number of factors. It helps build you a little bit more motivation, it helps get you a little bit more speed, and it also helps to look after the brakes, look after the tires, look after the engine a little bit more. It also gives you a little bit of a breather as well. When you're following in another kart, scientifically, the one in front is doing all the hard work and cutting through the air. The kart that follows naturally gets into the slipstream and gets you a little bit further forward. Into the pits comes the 17 kart. So that is the team from Belgium, and it's Nicolas Velez that comes in for the Mandy karting team. So he will swap over in the next running of position. So it's Eris Sport ahead of Eris Pro, the two teams first and second. Third place for Paquetes drivers, the Moldovans in the Mold Racing team number 14, really starting to hammer home the opportunity for the podium. They're only 7 seconds back from Paquetes drivers after 11 hours of racing. Very exciting stuff. Track Limits, the French team currently in 5th position in front of the top 6 team, Creatia. So Creatia in 6th position for Nelson Desplat, and then behind them we have the team from Astor Celta in 7th place, 8th at TFD, 9th at DTS, and 10th is the Essing Auto Racing Pro team. Lots of good battles still to come, but the Eris Sport and Eris Pro teams are separated by 20 seconds at this point. They're keeping very consistent lap times, everybody keeping towards the 1:23 mark, so 1 minute 23 seconds for the course. It's a pretty long circuit this, of course, 1,588 metres in length. When it was hosting the World Championships a couple of years ago, it was the longest circuit on the calendar, and we all hope, fans of the sport and fans of racing in general, that this is going to be an FIA karting venue again in the future. 17 and 41 in the pits, having made driver changes. So that is the Mandy karting team, Nicolas Verez, and the 41 FH Auto, Christian Zingenberg. They've just handed their karts over to their fellow teammates. So Mandy karting team has Florent Stassart at the wheel, and the 41 now has Finn Hansen at the wheel. So driver changes galore. We now go into the 12th hour of this incredible 30-hour race. 11 hours completed, and we have got ourselves in fantastic position. So Eris Sport leading the way then from Eris Pro, and Paquetes drivers from the Moldovans in Mold Racing in 4th position, and Track Limits, the French team, in 5th position. Great work from all of the competitors so far. A big shout out to all of the drivers from all of the nations, from Switzerland, from Spain, from Moldova, from France, from Denmark, from Portugal, from Belgium, from the Czech Republic, from Belarus, from Great Britain. They have come far and wide to come and race on this magnificent circuit. 40 crews, with anywhere between 4 and 8 drivers in each crew. So it is absolutely fabulous to see a minimum of 120 drivers. I think it's actually closer to 150 drivers that are here in this magnificent race at Kartcenter Campillos. The 30 hours continues long into the night. We're going to return when we go for the halfway point, when we change over from clockwise to counterclockwise. Make sure you tune in for that. It's a sight that you don't get to see in motor racing every day, and very unique to the Kartcenter Campillos 30 hours. I'm Jake Sanson. We'll see you back at around midnight.
Kartcenter Campillos, it's a three-way track.